Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Exploring Photography right here on Adorama TV. I'm Mark Wallace, and in this episode I want to try to help you figure out if light modifiers really matter. And so to do that, I'm in a medium-sized studio with white walls, with light bouncing everywhere, something that you might find if you're shooting in your living room or your garage or a small rental studio. So let's take a closer look. So back here we have this amazing wall. I love this. It's got all kinds of bricks and texture. This is going to be really cool. We're going to keep this as our background. We're not going to add anything to it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a model on this stool, and we're not going to really change that much. Now, what I want to do is to figure out if our light modifiers and the position of light change much in a studio like this. So what I have is I've got a Profoto 2-foot Octa Box that we'll be using, and then I've got a shoot-through white umbrella. We'll be trying that out. This is a fantastic little light modifier. And then we have another umbrella that's a silver and black umbrella, so that we'll see if that makes a big difference. And then even we have this grid that we can put on our Octa Box to see what happens. Now what I want to do is I want to keep the model on the stool and not really move the position of the model very much, if any at all. We want to move the position of our light and change our light modifiers to see how those really affect the overall look and feel of our light. So to figure all this out, we need to bring in a model, set up a light, and get shooting. All right, well now we have a model. This is Juana. You remember her from previous videos. Now we've had some craziness here in Buenos Aires, and so we're really making sure we take all precautions possible. So we're gonna be wearing our masks and keeping our distance while we're in the studio today. Now we have Juana on the stool there. We also have a light setup. So I have my Profoto B2. Let me walk you back here and show you. We're gonna start with 0 light modifiers just to start from the beginning. So let's go back here, and we have our camera set right here, and that is on axis with Juana. So I'm gonna throw my mask on here. And then you can see that we have this Profoto B2 head, and it doesn't have any modifier on it at all. And it's just to the side, I don't know, almost at a 45-degree angle, and up just a little bit above Juana's eye line. So nothing special about this at all. We just want to see what this looks like. So I'm going to meter this. So I have my Profoto trigger here. So when I fire this, I can meter that light. So I'm going to meter it to the camera with the Lumisphere up, because remember, light's going to be bouncing all over the place, off the wall, off this white wall, off the floor. So the Lumisphere up is going to capture all of that light from all directions. So that's why I have that up. So now I'm going to put this right under her chin, meter that. That meter is at 5.6. So I have my camera set at 5.6. Now, the reason I'm shooting at 5.6 is the first thing I want to do in a space like this is eliminate all ambient light. So I have my camera set to ISO 100. I have my aperture value at 5.6 and my shutter speed at 1/180th of a second, which is my camera's sync speed. So first, let me take a photo with no flash at all, just to see how much ambient light is coming into our photo. So that way we can judge if we need to use a smaller aperture or make some other adjustments. So let me do that first. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna focus this really fast. Juana's gonna take her mask off for this shot. Perfecto. Okay, now we have this all set. I take that first shot, and fantastic. We have almost no ambient light in this shot at all, which is what I want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this trigger on and do the same thing, same exact shot twice. Okay, perfecto, Juana. All right. Now, when we look at this, it's really contrasty. We've got a lot of light coming across. We've got big, sharp shadows. And so that's really not flattering. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to change the direction of light and see what we can do with that. So I'm going to take my light over here. I will just move it on axis with the camera. This is going to flatten out the light substantially. So it's almost right above the lens. So now I'm going to meter this again. So we want this to stay right at about 5.6. So let me meter this. So that's at 4.8. I'll increase the power on my flash just a bit. There we go. Now let's meter this one more time. That's 5.6. Okay, now let's see what happens. All we've done is we've changed the position of the light. Okay, Juana, ojos aquí, perfecto. All right, so now that's a little bit more flattering on Juana, but what happens is all that texture and all the goodness on that brick background has just gone away because we went from contrasty light to front light. So all the shadows that were cool on the background vanished, but also all the shadows on Juana's face sort of went away, so it's much more directional. So what we want to do if we're just using one light source is maybe compromise, and we can do that by adding a light modifier. That way we can get some softer light, but also directional light. Okay, now we have this. This is a shoot-through umbrella. And so what this allows us to do is instead of light bouncing off this back to our model, we're going to shoot light through this. And so that will really diffuse the light. It'll make our shadows much softer. It's just going to cast light everywhere. The cool thing about this is a simple light modifier to use, and it's really effective. The problem is because light is just spilling everywhere, you can't really control where it falls. It's just going to scatter all over the place. That's pretty good in a place like this. It's probably going to look fantastic. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go back, throw my mask on again really fast, and we're going to throw this on my light. So my light is now at about a 45-degree angle from Juana. So I'm just going to open this up, pop this on the head here, just about like that. I'll turn on the modeling light really fast, just so I can sort of see where this is falling. That looks pretty good, okay. And just for the sake of the video, I'll keep that turned off. The thing I want to do here is I want to get this light as close as possible to Juana, so we get really nice soft light. This is sort of surrounding her, but not so close. It shows up in my lens. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to turn on live view just so I can sort of see what's going on. So once I have that turned on, okay, I can see how close I can get this to Juana. So I'm going to scooch that in. Ooh, I can get really, really close. This is very close. I can get very, very close. Closer than I thought. Oh, gosh, no, it's way in the shot. Okay, I wasn't seeing it right. Okay, because the white wall and the white umbrella, they look like the same thing. All right, so now we're pretty close. Now I need to meter this light. Okay, yeah, now I need to meter this. And again, we want to meter this around 5.6. That's our goal, just to keep things consistent. So let me trigger that. And again, we're going to meter this. And out of sheer luck, that meter's at 5.6. So we just got totally lucky on that shot. All right, now I am going to put my lens hood up just to make sure that any light coming from this flash is not going to fall into the lens and cause lens flare. And then I think we'll be ready to shoot. Listo? Okay, let's see how this looks. Okay, now we have this umbrella, and it is a silver interior umbrella, which is going to be very reflective, which means the specular highlights, the reflections of the light, are going to be a little bit punchier than if we had a white interior. You have to be careful with shooting with a silver umbrella like this, because if you have a model that doesn't have perfect skin like Juana, it can show those the problems with the skin. So if that happens, use a white interior instead of silver. We're going to use silver because it's punchy, and I want to make sure we get sort of directional light. The other thing is, this is not a shoot-through umbrella. So the other umbrella, light was coming into it, it was being diffused, it was just sort of scattering everywhere. This light is going to be hitting that and then bouncing back toward our model. So I've increased the power of the flash just a bit to compensate for that. And now let's just walk back here and set it up and see how everything looks. So I'm going to throw my mask on really quick. And then what we'll do is we'll take our umbrella. This slides right onto my Profoto B2 head, just like that. Now I want to check and see how the light is coming to the side of this light. Because if I get too much light coming to the side and falling off, it's going to hit the background or it's going to hit my lens. So to do that, I'm just going to turn on my modeling light. Then I can use my hand to sort of see where the light is falling. And it looks pretty good. So I've got that just in there just about right. If too much light is falling off, then I just need to push this in a little bit. Not enough, I pull that out. The other thing I want to do is position the light. And so I'm using this center pole, sort of the center, to position that right at this direction. So it's sort of surrounding Juana. It's going to be nice and punchy. I've elevated it just a bit. If it's too many shadows under her eyes, what I can do is I can lower that umbrella. Not enough, I can raise it. So we want some light sculpting with this. All right, now we're going to meter the light. We want to meter at 5.6 to stay consistent. I've already increased the power. Let's see if I got it right. That's 4.8, so I need to change this a little bit. So I'm just increasing the light just a hair. Meter that again. 5.6. Okay, so everything is set. Let's take a shot and see how we did. So we'll probably have to adjust this just a little bit. So Juana is going to take off her mask. I'm going to focus this up. Okay, perfecto. Just like that, look at me, perfect. Okay, this looks very similar to what we had before. It's a little bit punchier light. Okay, perfecto. All right, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna play with this and then we'll compare those two, the shoot through with the silver umbrella. All right, now let's take a look at this. This is a Profoto 2-foot Octobox. So that's gonna give us a nice round catch lights in Juana's eyes. It's really pleasing for portrait photography. The other thing that's gonna happen here is because this is light that's being shot through this softbox, or this Octobox, light isn't gonna be escaping from the side. So we're not gonna have light spilling onto the wall or the floor or into the lens. So it's much, much more controlled than we would have with an umbrella. And because this is just perfectly diffused, we can really get some directional light. So we're gonna have to play with this a little bit to make sure that we have it in the right position to get the most pleasing results. So let's go back here. We'll throw it on our light really fast. I'll get my mask on really fast here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna throw this on my head. Notice the head is pointed toward Juana, so it's not bouncing like we had with that silver umbrella. So it's going straight at her. And then what we'll do here is we've got this sort of at a 45-degree angle. And I've already metered this at 5.6 to save a little bit of time. Listo? Okay, so she's gonna take her mask off. And take mine so we can talk. Okay, ojos aquí, perfecto. Hermosa. There we go. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna take another shot really fast, just off center, to show you what's happening. Notice on the left side of Juana, we have a shadow that's pretty pronounced. That's because this light is very directional. It's not spread out like those umbrellas. So we really want to fix that shadow. So we can do that by moving Juana. Okay, Juana, aquí por favor. So she's going to move forward just a little bit from the wall, just like that. I'm going to need to move my light back. So I want to have the same exposure on her, but not on the wall. So let me meter this again. So it should be at 5.6 when I meter everything correctly. I just got totally lucky. That is at 5.6. Normally I'd have to fidget with that just a little bit. Need to fidget with this position of this light so it's not quite so much side light. Okay, now let's take another shot and see how that background looks. Perfecto. I'm gonna need to move forward just so I don't have the light in my shot. And this, that's great. Wow, what a nice, beautiful portrait that is. Okay, now let's check out this little thing right here. This is called an egg crate or a grid. And what it does is it restricts the light at a certain degree. So I think this is like a 20 degrees, something like that. You can see as I rotate that, light can't escape, and then now it can. So you can see how that makes sure that the light isn't spreading out. So what we're gonna do is this is really gonna restrict the light from that Octobox. So we're just getting sort of a light isolate, just one little thing of light coming back. We can really, really control how much light is falling on Juana and we can get some chiaroscuro effect. If you don't know what that is, I made a video about it. I put a link in the description of this video about chiaroscuro. So we're gonna try some different lighting setups with this because we're really gonna restrict light. And so let's get to it. So I'm gonna zip back here, put on my mask, and then I'm gonna just stick this on the Octa Box. So I'm gonna turn on my modeling light just so I can sort of see what's happening here. And then I don't need to meter it because I haven't really changed the position of the light. And you can, so I'm gonna take my mask off here again. So we're at the same exact place we were before, same exact light, same exact metering. We've just added that grid. Take a shot, and you can see this really adds a strong vignette to the background. So if you compare that to the lights we were shooting before, it's just a little bit more restrictive. So it's separating that background from Wana, and that looks fantastic. So we'll shoot a few more of these, and then we'll go through and compare each one of these light modifiers side by side so you can decide for yourself which one works best for you. All right, well, there you have it. We shot with a bunch of different light modifiers, a bare head. We shot with the shoot-through white umbrella, the black umbrella with the silver inside. We shot with the grid and a normal Octa Box to get some different looks. Now, for my money, the shoot-through umbrella and the normal umbrella, the differences between those two weren't really spectacular. They're very subtle. But when we got to the Octa Box, that's when we saw a real big difference, and specifically when we added the grid and then moved Wana back from the background. So let me know in the comments below what you think of each of these different modifiers and which one you prefer. Now remember, these are just really quick down and dirty comparisons. Of course, if you have more time in your studio, you're probably gonna add different lights to add kicker lights and accents and hair lights and all kinds of things. But this does give you just a basic understanding of what each one of these light modifiers looks like in the same space. I wanted to say thanks to Wana. She's a fantastic model. I have added a link to her Instagram account in the description of this video. She's got fantastic photos. You want to check those out. And also I want to remind you to subscribe to Adorama TV. It's absolutely free. Make sure you turn on the bell to get notifications because we've got all kinds of live broadcasts as well as the daily updates. You don't want to miss out on those live broadcasts because they are really a ton of fun. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you again next time.